What is up, everybody? It is your favorite combat sports enthusiast and self-professed nerd. It is I, Matt Burton, the Saiyan Soldier, repping the Saiyan Soldier shirt, of course. And I'm back with another episode of the Saiyan Soldier Podcast with another fellow CP adaptive jiu-jitsu athlete, Mr. Rafael Diaz. Rafael is known as the Cyber Wolf. He started training in jiu-jitsu in 2016. In 2018, he competed in the Good Fight tournament in North Carolina. Then he competed in Grappler's Heart in NYC in the Best of the Best tournament in Cagua, Puerto Rico. He trains out of uh, Combat 360 and Delua BJJ. He's a fellow blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Everybody, welcome on the Cyber Wolf, Mr. Rafael Diaz. Appreciate you coming on, Rafael. It's good to
Hey,
talk to you.
hey, what's up? What's up? Um, I'm glad to be here. So, you wanna talk about? Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. I definitely want to talk about our similarities and actually how we got connected. But before we do that, talk to me about your journey, man, and how you got started into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and like your upbringing and how you found like how you dealt with your diagnosis of CP and then going into getting finding your way to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, um, I have CP since 5 months. I was born, so it was difficult to me to walk, talk, or move. And in my childhood, it was a little different than other people, than other child. And for me, it was a process to understand my CP, where I come from, all the stuff until now on my 40s. So
Right.
it- it's a long journey to understand my CP, and still I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I
Right.
wonder why,
Right.
because maybe in the 40s will be more hard to do jiu-jitsu in our world for do something. So
Right. I'm sure I'm sure growing up in your childhood, much like me, like because there's a lot of similarities between us with our forms of CP. I'm sure in your childhood, sports was out of the question, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
somehow I was, hey, do you want to do baseball? I was like, what? How? You know, and I find out a friend of my on Instagram, so Brian Freeman, and I see him doing some techniques of combat techniques or jiu-jitsu techniques, and then I start to follow him on social media, um, wishing meeting that guy someday. And then on 2012, I was in a seminar near on my house, and then I start learning some defense of of jiu-jitsu or personal defense or whatever it was called at that time. And then I find out that jiu-jitsu was my sport with
Right.
limitations or CP,
Right. Right. It's
and
crazy. It's crazy how
yeah,
that happens, huh? You try out the traditional sports. I remember for me, one of the first sports I did was a t-ball, but it was like, which is baseball on the tee, and like what I had to do was I had to have somebody assist me, as I'm running the bases or whatever, or playing catcher or whatever it was I was doing. So to go
Yeah.
from that in childhood to have very limited sports experience to finding one of the most intricate sports on the planet, even though it's easily modifiable, definitely brings a challenge. Now, you brought
Yeah.
up Brian Freeman. Everybody on this podcast that has listened has heard me mention Brian. Brian is, I consider him my jujitsu big brother. He's an OG to me, and it is one of my goals to have him on this podcast. But you said you started out with self defense with him at a seminar near your
Yeah.
house, right? Was this while you were in
I
North
start.
Carolina, or was it while you were
No,
in Puerto Rico?
I was in. I'm in Puerto Rico at that time, and then I go to a near school from my house, and then start self this same self defense, and then I start follow Brian Freeman in social
Okay,
media.
okay. I got you. I got you. So you were taking self defense classes first and then saw Brian on social.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So how did that translate into you starting? You said you found out it was your sport, but how did you find that out? Like what led you to finding that out?
Um, for me personally, I was trying to find a sport that wheelchair people can do. When I find out that jiu-jitsu was my sport, it was for the movements, the techniques, because we are CP waters, right? And we
Absolutely.
have a upper body to strength and even to move. Then I start self defense, and I find out that jiu-jitsu for me it was the sport in capital letters. So then I start seeing some techniques from other people like Helion Gracie, Hickson Gracie, MMA sport, and then I fall in love with jiu-jitsu.
My man.
All right.
But you said jujitsu. You found out jujitsu was your sport because, like you said, we have our upper body we can use. Like, yeah, the techniques are difficult, but there's ways for us to modify it. One thing that my gym
Yeah,
always says, and I've heard you say it before too, and it's so true. It may sound cliche, it may sound corny, it may sound plain, but jujitsu is for everybody. So like,
yeah,
and like, that's the best way for us to prove that is to get out there and do it. And so like, I'm glad that you were able to find it.
yeah.
So
Mr. Freeman for me, it was like someone to meet, like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. You know,
those absolute legends in the sport that like that it's it almost seems mythical to meet him, but like you actually got to meet him, you know?
Yeah,
That was kind of how it was for me when I met him too, because it's funny. I don't even remember how we met, like how I got connected. Like I remember how we met, but I don't remember how me and him got connected before we
yeah.
competed against each other. Cause we met competing against each other, but I don't
I
remember
have,
how we got connected. I think it was because we were following each other on social media, and I just reached out to him, or somebody I knew reached out to him for me and connected us. I think is what happened. But yeah, man, he's paved the way for a lot of people.
yeah. He changed so many lives. We are family, right? And for me, uh,
Right.
it was like meeting some legend, Hall of Famer, or wrestling idol, whatever it is.
Yep. Yep.
But for me, he is like a brother, a mentor. You know, Brian Freeman. Everyone he touch, everyone he transforms in something new. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
he's the
I,
pioneer
yeah.
of para jiu-jitsu.
For sure. For sure. Him. I look at him. Rustin Hughes. Shannon Kitchens.
Ma-
All those guys, man.
Maxi,
Yep. Maxie for
um,
sure.
Pete McGregor,
Yep.
uh, Tho- Thomas Wynn,
Yep. Ronald Mann. All those guys.
all the guys that do jiu-jitsu today, somehow, some way, they touch Brian Freeman.
Right. Exactly.
Some,
And then he just took it and carried it on to us.
yeah,
And I'm sure you like me are forever grateful for that. But
yeah.
so once you started training, how long? We know you started in 2016 and then you competed in 2018. Did you train for that whole 2 years before you competed? And what was that first experience like competing?
For I was competing before 2016, but I don't was very sure about competing. I was more focused on training than competing. But
Right. That makes
in
sense.
20, yeah. Then here in PR, the problem is there are not many tournaments to compete for people with limitations.
Right. Right. I understand that.
And and it was a pain to go somewhere, try to compete, and then find out that hey, I don't have so many guys to compete with. We have only one fight, and then go home. That's the case with us.
Yep. Yep. And that's what we're here to do. That's what we're trying to change. I know I've seen that a lot of times. I'm pretty sure like it is limited here in the States, like, but there are way more opportunities. So I can imagine in PR it's really, really slim.
And then I was more focusing in training for my daily life. And then on 2016, I started to doing some competition and training more and more. Then I quit the same year because my academy at that time, before Combat 360, it was a pain. So because they don't find out how to train me or where or who to compete with.
Right.
Most of the
But
people here in PR with disabilities, they don't have a chance to show the skills or no matter the sport they
right.
practicing here.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know there's been a few places I've been to here in the States or here in my own state, as a matter of fact, where it's been like the coaches are not willing to adapt to you to help you out or like to give you any kind of opportunity. So I can imagine, like, I know what that's like, but I can't imagine how difficult it was for you in Puerto Rico. Um, but luckily, you found Combat 360, just like I found Rush and
Yeah,
Team Havoc. Like we, those guys always were willing to work, and they still are. And I can't wait to get back there. But those guys are always willing to adapt. They love the challenge of making you of trying to make
yeah,
you a better athlete, and that's the type of coaches we need are the people willing to be like, okay, how do I as a coach adjust this for him to make him a better athlete, and how do I sharpen myself as a coach by figuring that out. If you don't have that
yeah.
kind of support system, it's going to be very difficult for you in this sport, disability or
Before
not.
are not the limitation. The limitations is in the way of thinking or the way we are just saying no to jiu-jitsu for some kind of people or some kind of athlete, you know.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those things that they're willing to adjust to, and that you're willing to work for them that you are capable. It's kind of
Yeah.
I've said it before, like we're it seems like us as adaptive athletes are always in a state of proving ourselves.
In that case, I will say you to you, my friend, we have nothing to prove to anyone. We have not nothing to prove. Just just do jiu-jitsu. That's the game.
Yep, you're right.
Then on 2017, I was facing Hurricane Maria, and then the social media, Facebook or Instagram, Brian Freeman sent me to me invitation to his place in North Carolina. And then I met Maxi. I met so many guys in North Carolina that I just keep learning from them. And but before I get to North Carolina, I was able to train 7 times in San Juan, Puerto Rico, with
Nice,
Carlos Reyes and
nice.
doing some training for that occasion. And then I meet Michael Jordan in North Carolina.
It's funny how we kind of look at Brian as the Michael Jordan of para jiu-jitsu, and Michael Jordan is actually from North Carolina, or he went to school in North Carolina. That's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
but that's awesome.
And then
Matter of fact, I think
he
that's how I got introduced to you was through Brian. I think he because he was trying. I think he was trying to get me to come out around the same time, but I couldn't make it. And he had told me about you and some of the other guys that were gonna be there, and I was like, I couldn't make it at the time, but I was like, one day we all will get together. So
yeah. And then I start training with Brian. I think February 14, 2018. And Then we start to do some techniques, and then I met Pete McGregor, Maxi, and all the guys that Brian calls the X-Men, because we have some abilities that we combine. We can do a seminar for people with disabilities
Right,
somehow.
right. Yep, yep. That's something I'm looking at too. I know Rustin is getting ready to throw one. If you haven't watched or listened to the episode with Rustin Hughes, y'all go please listen to that. It was a great listen. I'm telling you, Rustin had me ready to run through a wall. But like you said, if we all combine together like the X-Men, Voltron, whatever you want to call it, like there's no limit to what
Yeah.
we can do because you're gonna learn something from somebody.
Yeah. And we start in a couple of weeks and to train each other, knowing each other, and then the good fight come. The good fight tournament come, and we are nervous because a person with disabilities going to a good fight, then fighting each other and proving that jiu-jitsu truly is for everybody.
Right. I was so impressed when y'all did that because I remember seeing it and I was like, man, I wish I could have been there. But that was pretty awesome. But it's gonna something
But
like that is gonna happen again, and that's what it's gonna take is us coming together and building it. And I think a lot of us, I think the community is growing and it's growing at a rapid rate. But like we can always grow, and it's gonna keep improving the more we keep doing things like getting together and working with each other and passing on that knowledge.
yeah, that's the key of knowing each other. Hey, you have CP. No, I have spinal cord. I have everything. But that's the name of the game. Knowing each other, sharing some techniques, and then having some fun in the mats, on the mats. That that will be awesome. That's the game. And
Exactly.
then it's the key that we need as a group, as a community, or institution, organization to keep moving jiu-jitsu with people with disabilities. That's the key.
Yep. You're exactly right. And like that's the beauty of it. Like you said, that's how we move it forward is knowing each other and then going out there and having some fun. And like I'm so glad that we can be that group that starts pushing it more. Like the more it grows, the more opportunities for everybody. And then there's going to be another generation behind us that are like, "Oh, we can pick this up too." And then they'll carry it somewhere further and it'll be get better and better. And it'll end up being my hope is with my promotion that I'm starting with Adapt for Combat. I can't wait for it. But my hope is that one day it becomes as big as any of the major BJJ organizations, and that it puts the spotlight on us. That's our goal, and like it puts the spotlight on us in a sense that we can compete, but we're also friendly with each other. We're not like yeah, we want to go hard and compete against each other hard, but we're not just out here for the glory of it. We want to be the advancement of it too.
Yeah, we are the way to do it for other people. We don't have to do a wrestling promotion and say, "Oh, tonight I will kick somebody's," you know,
Yeah, I
just
got you.
having some fun and knowing each other, having a great food, great music, and then start to rolling or whatever.
Yep.
doing a seminar. That's the key of the evolving of jiu-jitsu with people with disabilities. That's the
Right,
key.
right.
So
Yep. That's that's the game and that's the goal, man. Is you gotta evolve it.
yeah,
Matter of fact, you just gave me a really good idea. I gotta talk to my people about it because I might try to put something together for after the first Adapt for Combat event. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. I'm working on a big project called Adapt for Combat. I've talked about it before, but I'll have more details about it soon, and I'm gonna do an episode on it. But you're exactly right. It's about coming together. It's like we said, being being
yeah,
there, being the way for other people, showing what we can do, and then passing it forward. And that's the biggest thing that we can provide. Like, yeah, do I want to win? Yes. But do I want to see other people win too? Yes, in more ways than one.
yeah. Because one things of Brian Freeman told me, and I keep learning from him, is like you are the icon of this movement, right? You have to prepare the path for other people, teaching your techniques or teach or adapting some techniques for other people, and then our community grows, you know.
Yep, because
And
there's been a
um,
lot of start and stop uh things for us. It's like it gets going and then for some reason it stalls out. And then somebody has to pick it back up and start pushing it up the hill again. And then what we have to do is exactly like you're saying, pave the way so it gets up the hill and then that way the next generation can just let it roll down back down the hill smooth.
yeah, that's the key for everything in this sport.
Yep.
Yeah, you know.
Yep.
Um, but most of the time, there's so many organization doing grapplers hard or good fight tournament. We need this kind of organization that do tournaments or competition for people with disabilities.
Yep.
We need more of this.
Right. And that's what I want to do with Adapt for Combat. I'm starting like it's going to be an organization for us. But I'm also willing to work with all the other ones too because we're only going to grow the more we work together. So I'm not opposed to that. Like that's what I want to happen. I even want to get with some other MMA promotions and like see if they'll allow us just to grapple on an MMA card, you know?
Wh- Why I saying this because in some promotions, if you know, I want to subscribe or to compete, then you have to say, "Hey, I'm a CP with a wheelchair. I need somebody to compete with me." But they don't how I don't know how or who want to compete with me
Well, see
or
that
finding
that's
the yeah,
that's the thing is like if you the way I had to do it, the way I did it with the MMA promotion that I worked with is I knew a guy that had CP and he reached out to me and was like, if you need an opponent, let me know. Because originally we were gonna train together, and then he
yeah,
found out I wanted to compete on this MMA card. They were gonna allow me to do a grappling match, but I had to find my opponent. But see, with the that for combat, I'm hoping to be able to network that to help us find opponents for each other. You know what I mean? Like we can be that bridge to each other. Like say if you have somebody you want to compete, or you have somewhere you want to compete against, or somewhere
yeah,
you want to compete, you can reach out to me or any of the other guys and ask, hey, is anybody available to do this? And then we can
yeah.
help adapt for combat can help set that up.
Because for us, people with the limitation, for example, we need to do an explanation to the promoters of these tournaments and saying, "Hey, I need a person with the same CP. Um, can you find it?" I said no because you know there are so many excuses,
Yep.
but there are not excuses, and somehow
Right.
they don't dare to take risks and invite people with CP, spinal cord, or any kind of the disabilities. And the game, in theory, it is jiu-jitsu is for everybody, but in the practice, isn't for everybody.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I want Adapt for Combat to be. I want it to be that bridge, but I also want it to be the thing where people with disabilities can come to, and they don't have to they won't have to struggle to find opponents, you know what I mean? Like we can have our place to compete and help it grow. Did you freeze? Ah, there we go.
All right.
But like what I was saying was Adapt for Combat. I want to, is that's the place where I want us to be able to come without having that struggle of, oh, I can't find an opponent. Yeah, you can. There's one here at Adapt for Combat here. Or if we take it to another promotion, they can reach out to Adapt for Combat, and I can be like, yeah, I'll find him an opponent. If Rafael wants to compete against somebody, all right, I'll find him
Yeah,
an opponent. He doesn't have to, like, the promoter themselves don't have to worry about
yeah. That's the I want to address because I want to say something very very important to to these guys doing jiu-jitsu with the limitations. Never quit, never quit, never surrender. There's always a way to accomplish dreams, goals, and for us, it's difficult to get sponsor or having some help, but never quit. There's some time, some place that you need to keep forward.
it. Absolutely, man. And that's the goal, no matter how hard it gets.